I too have to welcome many aspects of this budget and be honest and accept that today. But I mean, you're playing a very dangerous game, Minister, with the people's taxes, with the windfall, with the extra taxes that we have from FDIs and all the big foreign direct investment companies. Great that we have it, but that may not be there next year, and the budgetary pressures will be there. That may not be there in 2024, and the demands on the budget will be there. So if you're in business, it will be a very bad way to run your business. As I said, the government claims credit for, the likes of the €200 ESP, and the 600 now going to be given over 3 twos. But every person in this country will get that. Whether they be a millionaire, or whether they be a Dr. Dollar, or whether they be, a government minister. Why, in God's name, in this day and age, you can't separate that out and give it to the people who are struggling, who are in need? I would have to welcome as well the supports for the Nadine Yoga, for the childcare costs. I would have to welcome the taxation breaks that are there, badly needed for Middle Ireland, and people get up in the middle of the day. But there's a cohort there then that are older, that are past, we have the children reared and are working and paying everything, and they're getting nothing. Nothing. Also, family carers, people that we talk about and we give great homage to, but we get them €500 extra, yes, definitely. And also the social welfare increase of 12, which ESRI and many others said they need at least 20 there. But there's no recognition of the work and the valuable work that they do. And I thought that they would get automatic at fuel now, so then they'll be refused again for many, many other areas. And these people keep our hospitals, the bed blockers out of hospital, keep people cared for in the home. I salute them, and you all salute them, but you won't do anything for them in the budget. And they had great expectations this time that you would do something meaningful, that they would have to. As I said, the homeless crisis and the housing crisis continues on probably 2 decades certainly, if not more. And how do we decide to help it? We decide to tax concrete that makes every block. This is obviously a sting in the tail for the people who had the mica and had the other pyrite and other issues in their houses. But why didn't you go after the rogue companies? Many of them are still operating, who caused this problem. Instead, you're putting the price of concrete up now for family business like one of my own town in Care, Corbett Concrete. Long-standing business, family business, and the price of concrete is just gone out of reach for all the products that they made, serving the agriculture industry, serving the home industry, and serving roads as well, and underpasses and everything else. So that's some support for anyone struggling to buy a house. Then you have the first-time buyers grant, but now we find that and support for young people trying to buy a house. We're told it has to be a new house, or it has to be a house that wasn't occupied. What about if there's you can't get planning in many parts of the country, but there are houses available that are whatever, semi-derelict and everything else, and it can't qualify for that. So this is a kind of announcements here of the licorice all sorts, and he gave out the nice ones today. Do you remember when we had the bag of licorice all sorts, and we all left the big round yellow ones, the black spots inside and the bottom, and we took the nice ones, the triple layers first. That's what you're doing here. It's fine to give out these little inducements today, but the tax on fuel, the tax on living, the cost of ESB is still spiralling upwards, and we can't stop that. The vacant house property. Yes, it has to be welcomed, I suppose, but again, people going to live in and do selfies, as someone else said, and prove that they were in for 30 days. But are we going to tackle every single local authority in the country who have, I won't say hundreds, but dozens and dozens of vacant properties, some of them for decades? Are we going to tax them? So it's all about the ordinary people and nothing about the state that you're providing. They hate to see again, you talk again about announcing underage children free GPs. You didn't consult the GPs. You cannot get an appointment now within a week for a GP, whether it be man, woman or child. And now we're going to pile more. You announced this 2 years ago and it was never fulfilled. So people out there are very weary of your announcements. I'd have to wholeheartedly, we're talking about health, welcome at long last and compliment, and I did today during the speech, commented great news about the defibrillators and other equipment that many volunteer groups, like we have in my own village of Newcastle, first responders, the work they do and the tremendous work they do. And I want to welcome, I want to thank them for that work, but also fundraising now, at least the VAT element of that won't have to be paid. It was nonsense to be taxing people because people paying that money in the fundraising had already paid punitive taxes on it, and that's what's wrong there. So there are many other ways. I want anomalies again about the CE participants who's worked in every community and enhance every community. And it's not clear to me that they're now going to qualify for fuel allowance. Some will, some won't, but many won't. So I want that explained, and if not, we'll be putting an amendment to Rural Independent Group towards the finance bill to try and acknowledge, because they only get €20 a week extra to go on, maybe 25 now. Otherwise they could be, as I said, not playing a meaningful part. And that is wonderful, the work they do. And the re-entry to the workforce, and the way they learn and re-engage and re-skill. And goodness knows we need these re-skilling people. Let's go around town. I didn't see the clock, what time is that today? So, you might remind me, Concola. And areas like that. Imagination seems to be the divide of this government. It's almost stuck into every second page of this government today on party class. Green this, green that. Well, the people are blue in the face of the green agenda and the punitive costs that is putting on them. And you're talking about the war, and you're talking about the climate change. These massive increases were created by ye, by bad management in government, and by the previous government kept in business by Fianna Fáil. And you can't be blaming the war. We opposed, my group here, the carbon tax almost 18 months ago, and 7 Táchtaí Dáil in this House voted against it. So now you're reaping what you sowed. And the carbon tax is punitive. And you tell us today that hundreds of ways it's going to be respent, or it's going to be ring-fenced and spent in our houses and homes, retrofitting, and other schemes on the farming. Everybody, even the dogs in the streets, know that it's not being spent in the farms. It's not being spent in retrofitting. They're waiting decades. Of course, it's spent in the leafy suburbs of Dublin 4, where Minister Ryan's constituency. So Minister Ryan's hands are all over this. His green, nimble fingers are all over this. His window box, south-facing window boxes are all over this. And it's pandering to keep yourselves in government. And it's more and truer and rushed in, because the people out there expect leadership. They expect good governance. They expect imagination. Budgets, as my own good wife said to me today, I said, what do you think of the budget? Budgets are for taking money off people, she said, and then throwing around little bits and pieces, how right she was. And this is a perfect example of that. Fire out the money today, but the small print when we get it in the finance bill, we'll see that there are many more restrictions and many more loopholes that people won't be able to claim. And the fat cats and the developers, the big developers, and the people going here and buy up the homes, they're not touched at all. So you're beholding to those, and so are some of the Green Party, obviously also go. They care little about the ordinary people. Deputy